I recently saved my first $10,000 without giving up a single weekend trip or my daily coffee, and I just want to break down the exact framework I used to get there. Because let's be brutally honest for a second. Most financial advice is garbage. It's written by people who have forgotten what it feels like to live paycheck to feel that cold knot of dread in your stomach when you check your bank balance, to feel like you're constantly running on a hamster wheel, working hard, but never getting ahead. They tell you to just cut your lattes. They say, cancel your streaming services. They preach a gospel of deprivation, a life of saying no to everything that brings you a tiny spark of joy, all in the name of some distant, abstract future. And what happens? You try it for a week, maybe two. You feel miserable, deprived, and resentful. You see your friends going out, living their lives, and you're at home eating ramen, hating every second of it. And then you snap. You binge spend to make up for the misery, and you end up right back where you started. Only now you feel like a failure on top of being broke. I know this because that was my life for years. I thought saving a serious amount of money, like $10,000, was a pipe dream reserved for people who made six figures or had zero social life. I thought it meant becoming a hermit. I was wrong. The problem wasn't my income. It wasn't my coffee habit. It was my approach. I was trying to solve the problem with willpower, and willpower is a finite resource. It's like a muscle that gets tired. The real secret, the paradigm shift that changed everything for me, wasn't about cutting back. It was about building a system so powerful, so seamless, that saving money became the default. It became easier to save than it was to spend. What I'm about to share isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a fundamental shift in how you relate to your money. It's about taking back control, not by punishing yourself, but by outsmarting your own brain. The goal of $10,000 isn't just a number. It's a buffer. It's a freedom fund. It's the I can quit this job I hate fund. It's the my car broke down and it's not a catastrophe fund. It's the first real step toward building a life where you make decisions based on your desires, not your fears. So, here's the raw truth. The first step has nothing to do with a budget. Forget the spreadsheets. Forget tracking every single penny. That's a recipe for burnout. The most important step, the one that does 90% of the heavy lifting, is automation. I call this the pay your future self first protocol. The day you get your paycheck, before you pay your rent, before you buy groceries, before you even think about that coffee, a portion of that money needs to disappear. It needs to be automatically transferred from your checking account to a separate high-yield savings account. This is non-negotiable. You might be thinking, but how much? Start smaller than you think. If the idea of transferring $500 makes you break out in a cold sweat, start with 100. Start with 50. The exact amount at the beginning is less important than building the habit. The magic is in the automation. You are removing the single biggest point of failure, yourself. You no longer have to decide to save. You no longer have to rely on having money left over at the end of the month, because let's be real, there's never anything left over. You've designed a system where your savings goal is treated as the most important bill you have to pay. This savings account needs to be separate. Don't just let the money sit in your main checking account. It needs to be slightly inconvenient to access. I'm not talking about locking it away in some complex investment. Just a different bank, ideally one online with a high-yield interest rate, so your money is actually making you a little bit of money while it sits there. This creates a psychological barrier. When you have to consciously log into a different app and initiate a transfer, you're far less likely to dip into it for an impulse purchase. That money is for future you. It has a job, and that job is to build your fortress of financial security. Now, here's the part that feels like a cheat code. This is how you save money without giving up your life. It's called the reverse budget. Once that automated transfer to your savings is gone, The money remaining in your checking account is yours to spend. All of it, guilt-free. You want to go out to dinner with friends? If the money is in your account, go for it. You want to buy that new video game? Do it. You want to grab a $5 latte every single day? As long as it's in the account, it's yours. This is a profound mental shift. You are no longer operating from a mindset of scarcity and restriction. You've already accomplished your most important financial goal for the week or month. Everything else is a bonus. The anxiety disappears. The guilt over spending vanishes. You've flipped the script. Instead of saving what's left after spending, you're spending what's left after saving. This simple change is the difference between feeling poor while saving and feeling empowered. It allowed me to enjoy my life, to say yes to experiences, because I knew with absolute certainty that my future was being taken care of automatically in the background. Of course, to make this work, you need to know how much you can realistically automate. This is where the second piece of the puzzle comes in. It's not about tracking every purchase, but about understanding your big three expenses: housing, transportation, and food. These three categories typically make up 50 to 70% of the average person's spending. This is where you find the real money, not in your Netflix subscription. Spend 1 hour, just one, looking at your last month's bank statement. Don't judge yourself. Just gather data. How much are you really spending on those three categories? The numbers might shock you, but that's a good thing. Knowledge is power. Now, instead of trying to cut $1 here and $1 there, you look for 1 or 2 meaningful changes in these big categories. Can you find a roommate to split the rent? Can you switch to a cheaper car insurance provider? I saved over $100 a month just by shopping around for insurance. That's $1,200 a year right there. That's more than 10% of our goal from a single phone call. When it comes to food, it's not about eating beans and rice forever. It's about being intentional. I realized I was spending a fortune on lunch at work and last-minute takeout because I was too tired to cook. My solution? I didn't stop eating out. I just started meal prepping 2 or 3 main dishes on Sunday. This didn't mean I couldn't grab lunch with a coworker, but it meant I had a delicious, cheap, and easy option waiting for me most days. This single habit freed up hundreds of dollars a month that I could then redirect into my automated savings. I increased my automatic transfer from $50 a paycheck to $200, then to $300. It started to snowball. This is the key. You make a few high-impact optimizations on the big stuff, and it gives you total freedom on the small stuff. The latte doesn't matter when you've just saved $100 on your car insurance. That weekend trip is completely guilt-free because you're not ordering takeout 4 nights a week anymore. You're not depriving yourself. You're being strategic. You're a financial surgeon, making precise cuts where they have the most impact, rather than hacking away with a blunt axe and destroying all your joy in the process. The final piece, the glue that holds it all together, is your mindset. You have to stop viewing saving as a punishment. Every dollar you transfer to your savings account is not a dollar you've lost. It's a dollar you are using to buy your future freedom. You are purchasing peace of mind. You are buying the ability to say no to a boss you don't respect. You are buying the ability to handle an unexpected medical bill without going into debt. You are buying options. Money is a tool, and for the first time, you are using it to build something for yourself, not just to survive until the next paycheck. When I started seeing my savings account as my freedom fund, the game changed. Watching that balance grow wasn't about hoarding money. It was about watching my future possibilities expand. The first 1,000 was the hardest. It felt slow, but then it hit 2,000, then 5. The momentum builds. The interest starts to compound. You start looking for ways to feed the fund. You sell things you don't need anymore. You pick up a side gig for a few hours a week and dedicate all that income directly to your savings. It becomes a positive feedback loop. Your success fuels your motivation. And before I knew it, I logged in one day and saw the number, $10,000. The feeling wasn't just relief. It was a profound sense of pride and control. It was the feeling of being an adult who had their life together. I had done it. And the craziest part? My life hadn't gotten worse. It had gotten better. I was less stressed. I was more intentional with my spending. I was still going out, still traveling, still enjoying my coffee. I had just built a system that worked for me instead of against me. So forget the shame. Forget the guilt. Forget the idea that you have to suffer to build wealth. Build a smart system. Automate your savings. Focus on the big wins and give yourself the grace and freedom to enjoy the rest. That is the real path. Saving your first $10,000 isn't just about the number in an account. It's about buying back your own freedom. It's the moment you stop letting your finances control you and you start controlling them. It's the first day of the rest of your financial life.